Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was one of the greatest Muslim thinkers, reformers, educationists and political intellectuals produced by the South Asian subcontinent. He appeared at a time of extraordinary political decline, social confusion and intellectual stagnation among the Muslims of India. The Mughal Empire had almost collapsed. British colonial authority was firmly expanding across the subcontinent. Old institutions were weakening rapidly. The Muslims, who had once ruled large parts of India for centuries, suddenly found themselves politically defeated, economically weak and educationally backward. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan emerged during this painful transition. He devoted his entire life to understanding the causes of Muslim decline and to finding a practical path for their revival. His personality combined scholarship, political wisdom, religious thought, modern educational vision and social reform. He became a bridge between the old Muslim civilization of India and the modern age introduced by British colonial rule. His efforts transformed Muslim political thinking in South Asia and eventually laid the intellectual foundations for the Pakistan movement and the creation of Pakistan. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan was born on October 17, 1817 in Delhi during the declining years of the Mughal Empire. He belonged to a respected and cultured Muslim family connected with the Mughal court. His family environment was deeply religious and intellectually refined. He received education in Arabic, Persian, Islamic studies, mathematics, and literature. Though he did not receive a Western-style education in his early years, he possessed a sharp and analytical mind. As a young man, he entered government service under the British East India Company and worked in various judicial and administrative positions. Through his service, he closely observed the changing political realities of India. He saw how British power was gradually replacing traditional Muslim authority. He also witnessed the growing educational and economic gap between Muslims and other communities. The most decisive event of his life was the Great Uprising of 1857, often called the Indian Rebellion or the War of Independence. The rebellion shook the entire subcontinent and marked the formal end of Mughal political authority. Large numbers of Indians, including Muslims and Hindus, rose against British rule. The British brutally crushed the uprising and imposed direct crown rule over India. The aftermath of 1857 was disastrous for Muslims. The British considered Muslims primarily responsible for the rebellion because the old Mughal ruling class was Muslim and because many Muslim leaders had participated in the uprising. Muslims faced severe punishment, political suspicion and economic decline. Their educational institutions weakened further. Many Muslims refused to learn English or adopt modern sciences because they associated them with colonial domination. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan understood that the Muslim community was moving toward complete destruction if it remained isolated from modern education and changing political realities. He therefore attempted to explain the real causes of the rebellion and to reduce British hostility toward Muslims. In 1858, he wrote his famous book Asbab-e Hind, The Causes of the Indian Revolt. In this remarkable work, Sir Syed argued that the rebellion had not occurred merely because of conspiracies or religious hatred. Rather, it resulted from administrative injustice, political exclusion and the failure of the British government to understand local sentiments. He courageously criticized British policies while maintaining a balanced tone. This work demonstrated his intellectual honesty and political maturity. At the same time, Sir Syed also tried to persuade Muslims that confrontation with British power would only deepen their misery. He believed Muslims needed education, social reform and political wisdom instead of emotional resistance. His approach was practical rather than revolutionary. One of the greatest contributions of Sir Syed Ahmed Khan was his educational movement. He realized that Muslims had become backward mainly because they had isolated themselves from modern scientific and intellectual developments. While other communities increasingly adopted English education and modern learning, many Muslims remained attached only to traditional systems. Sir Syed believed that without modern education Muslims could never regain dignity or progress. He therefore launched a historic movement for educational reform. He established schools, scientific societies and intellectual circles to spread modern knowledge among Muslims. In 1864, he founded the Scientific Society at Ghazipur, later shifted to Aligarh. This society translated modern English books into Urdu so that Muslims could understand contemporary science, politics and economics. His greatest achievement was the establishment of the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh in 1875. This institution later became Aligarh Muslim University. The college aimed to combine modern Western education with Islamic moral values. Sir Syed wanted Muslims to learn English, science, law, philosophy and modern administration while remaining faithful to their religious identity. The Aligarh movement soon became the intellectual center of Muslim awakening in India. It produced a new Muslim middle class educated in modern disciplines. Many future political leaders, scholars, journalists and reformers emerged from this institution. Sir Syed's educational philosophy transformed Muslim society in South Asia. Sir Syed was not only an educationist but also a religious reformer. He believed Islam was fully compatible with reason, science and progress. He argued that many misunderstandings among Muslims were caused by rigid interpretations and resistance to intellectual inquiry. He encouraged Muslims to study religion rationally and to understand the spirit rather than merely the form of Islamic teachings. His religious ideas created controversy among conservative scholars, some of whom accused him of being too modernist. However, Sir Syed remained committed to his belief that Islam encouraged knowledge, reflection and scientific thinking. He wanted Muslims to regain intellectual confidence in the modern world. Politically, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan developed ideas that later became highly influential in the history of the subcontinent. After observing political developments in India, he gradually concluded that Hindus and Muslims were two separate communities with distinct religious traditions, cultural values, historical experiences and social systems. He feared that under a democratic system dominated by majority rule, Muslims would become politically marginalized because Hindus constituted the majority population. He therefore emphasized the separate political identity of Muslims. This thinking eventually evolved into what became known as the two-nation theory. Sir Syed argued that Hindus and Muslims were like two eyes of a beautiful bride, both important yet distinct. Although he initially supported cooperation between communities, he strongly opposed political arrangements that ignored Muslim identity and interests. When the Indian National Congress was established in 1885, Sir Syed expressed reservations about it. He believed Congress mainly represented Hindu political aspirations and that Muslims were not yet educationally or politically prepared to compete equally. He advised Muslims to focus first on education and social advancement. The political ideas introduced by Sir Syed later deeply influenced Muslim leadership in India. His concept of Muslim distinctiveness inspired future thinkers and leaders including Allama Muhammad Iqbal and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Over time, the two-nation theory became the ideological foundation of the Pakistan movement. The Pakistan movement eventually led to the creation of Pakistan in 1947. Although Sir Syed did not demand a separate Muslim state during his lifetime, his intellectual framework prepared the ground for Muslim nationhood in South Asia. For this reason, he is often regarded as one of the earliest ideological architects of Pakistan. Apart from politics and education, Sir Syed also contributed significantly to literature, journalism and historical writing. He wrote extensively on religion, history, social reform and politics. Through his journal Taza Balakhlak, he encouraged Muslims to reform social habits, improve moral conduct and adopt progressive attitudes. His writings promoted discipline, rationality and self-respect. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan passed away on March 27, 1898 in Aligarh. By the time of his death, he had already transformed Muslim intellectual life in India. He had awakened a defeated and discouraged community and given it a new sense of direction. His educational movement continued to grow after his death and became one of the most influential forces in modern South Asian Muslim history. Sir Syed's legacy remains enormous even today. He is remembered as a visionary who understood the challenges facing Muslims in a rapidly changing world. He combined realism with reform, tradition with modernity, and faith with reason. His greatest achievement was that he gave Muslims confidence to face modern civilization without abandoning their identity. The Muslims of South Asia owe much of their educational awakening and political consciousness to Sir Syed Ahmed Khan. He was not merely an individual reformer, he was the founder of an intellectual movement that changed the destiny of millions. His life represents struggle, foresight, wisdom and dedication to the collective advancement of his community. In the history of the subcontinent, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan stands as a larger-than-life personality whose influence extended far beyond his own age. His ideas shaped Muslim political thought, educational reform and social consciousness for generations. His contribution remains permanently engraved in the intellectual and political history of South Asia.